Stuart, it's been a summer of plenty of change within the academy. Talk to us first about the staffing structure and the changes that have been made there.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind 6 months, really, and probably over the last 12 months, Liam. I think it all started from, the academy audit near enough a year ago, and then the point which Steve Welsh left. I think it created a really good time to try and modernise the academy structure. And we put a lot of emphasis on developing players of value for the first team. Probably haven't spent enough time looking at the MDT approach to holistic development. So what we did was split Steve Welsh's role into two. Head of play development and head of coach development. So Josh Law, who we brought from Barnsley, he's done really well, to be fair. He's integrated really well with the staff team. His role's really to try and bridge that gap between the academy and the first team, making sure the methodology of how we play and how we monitor play development's in place, working with all the staff. Eben Thomas has joined as assistant head of academy to myself and head of coach development. He's joined us from Gillingham, so he's got a really, really vast background. I'm sure you'll get to know a little bit more about him as the time goes on. His role is to really implement that syllabus so everyone knows how we coach, the behaviours, the mannerisms, how we want to try and get around the players, and really to make sure we're generating staff that are capable of producing players of value. So pair of them will be working closely together. So far, so good. It'll take a little bit of time to embed, I'm sure, over the course of the next 12 to 18 months, but equally, I think we're in a really strong place from a football perspective. I think it's worth noting as well, we've brought in a under-13s, 14s league coach as well, so we've really emphasised our approach for the YDP especially. The average age of first-team players is coming down in general football. We've got to try and accelerate experiences and really bridge the gap. So a lot of emphasis on the YDP within the academy. The wider changes off the back of that. So obviously with Craig Collins stepping up to the first team, a real success for us. So we obviously talk about players. Craig's a great example of staff progression. Well trusted and he's made a great start in the club at first team level. But it allowed us to look at how we deliver our education. So we've now got a head of education and holistic development, Kate MacDonald, who has been working really hard in the background to make sure the hybrid program is up to speed. We'll talk about that later, I'm sure. And actually, we've now brought in our lead academy analyst, so Emily Brett stepped up into the lead academy analyst role in the academy. So I think that the wider changes, we're nearly kind of 60 members of staff now in the academy overall, and it's a bit of a beast, to be fair. Whole new academy leadership team with myself, fresh ideas, fresh faces. Paul's done an outstanding job with the youth team in terms of how we play, the mannerisms around the players, and actually keeping that relationship with the first team, in which we know how crucial that is. And at the minute, we've got a really good link with Grant Cliff and all the first team staff, and we've got to keep that going and make sure that the players are getting that opportunity, and staff as well, that they deserve. This
is all about strengthening what you've got and what you produce. It's not all about just bridging that gap, is it? It's about at every single level, you're providing the best opportunity for these players to develop, for coaches to develop, but also from when they come out at the end of it, whether they're progressing to the first team or end up moving on to something different, that you've done everything that you can for them to develop them as young people as well as footballers.
I mentioned in our staff induction, if everyone can look at the mirror at the end of the season and say, I've tried my best for every single player in my role, then we can't ask for any more. That the actual in-depth of what we're trying to do as a collective to produce players of value for the first team, to become a real leading academy for holistic development at Cat 3, and actually just try and raise our profile around what we do. Last season, our youth team was really young. We've continued kind of in that way with the loan programme. So our second years will generally go out on loan from kind of step 2 down. So Sam Brown's a good example last year at Peterborough Sports. But then that allows the likes of Ethan Hodgett to play basically 50 youth team games before starting his scholarship, which is tremendous, really. And hopefully him and others will get some more opportunity with the first team. They've been training over pre-season, hopefully be around more matchday squads as time comes on, but they're an opportunity where they're being stretched every single day. The expectations are high, and some of them are really raising to that challenge, which is great to see.
Saw plenty on the bench in the Virtue Trophy for the first team, but that shows that faith has been shown from sort of first team level, that these lads are capable to be called upon if needed in such a game.
Absolutely, and the fact that kind of Paul's leading the youth team, and he's kind of been through that process, has a real good alignment with Cliff Byrne, our assistant manager, and really we're preparing the players for that opportunity that might be due to an injury, last minute, we need them to train, all them unexpected moments, our lads need to be ready. And I think that's something that we've got really good at, but it comes with good relationships with the first team staff and actually having players that are capable and of going over to train with the first team and holding their own and potentially not being sent back after a bad session, which has happened in previous years. And actually we've got a really good group of young players who are pushing each other every single day to make the difference.
How pleased are you with the environment then that's been created over this last 12 months in particular? I
think with new people, new ideas, becomes a certain level of enthusiasm. So our 4 values are desire, resilience, focus and creativity in the academy. So they're the kind of 4 things we try and go after every single day. We want to maximise every single day they come into work, all the staff, all the players. Just want people to love coming. If people love coming and improving, I think we're going to create a really good environment for everyone to be in. But in order to have that environment, it's kind of trust from the staff. We want to have some humour between as well, a good environment for everyone to keep challenging each other, but actually know we're all there for each other as well. And I mentioned a few times about being like ruthlessly caring. So we want to care absolutely for everyone, but know there is a real expectation to go after. But the change in culture has come with probably changes of people. The people who've left, by the way, if some of them are really, really good people, it just becomes a time where first team have stepped up into League One. We as a club have gone up. The expectation on me with the academy is that we have to step up as well. So, like I mentioned, the hybrid program. We've got a hybrid program in place. So the under-16s are going to come out of school for the first time ever with us in the club. We've theoretically now got a plan where an under-15 could go and train. A 15-year-old could go and train with a first team and leapfrog the under-18s. You see trends in the game where players are skipping almost the PDP element. So actually, how do we try and bridge that gap between under-16s, under-18s and first team, which we know is a really, really big gap, but we can only do as much as we can day to day, and that's certainly what we're trying to do.
That player progression is such a massive element of what you do, and things like that, and making those changes really go towards sort of aiding that process.
I think as well that the loan programme really helps from a player point of view. Gloves spends a lot of time, and all the staff do, from a first team point of view, making sure the loans are right, how we track players, feedback from managers. They've not all gone right, but Casper, obviously Whitby last year, Bridlington at the minute, Sam, successful loan, Peterborough Sports gone there now, and I think Flinty's kind of last 18 months as a role model to every player underneath to say patience is key, opportunities to thrive, and you've got to go and play senior football. So we've got to try and bridge that gap, like I keep saying. In order to do that, the lads have got to go and experience different dressing rooms. They've got to know what it smells like, feels like out on that first team pitch to go and make a difference. And again, Will's a really good example of how the loan programme's evolving, and hopefully over time he'll get his opportunity here at the club.
And players like that, going out and being a success like that, it raises the profile of what you're doing, but also builds faith in when you have got players that are available for loan. Clubs are interested.
Yeah, and I think when a player goes out on loan, it creates an opportunity for a younger player. So little Luke Hamer last year, he was under 15, he scored a winner against Mansfield, and he was under 15 on the pitch, and he was a real shining light in that particular game. We've seen under 15s playing in the under 18s, 16s are constantly playing in the under 18s, and even further below in the academy, what Dylan's been doing with our foundation phases dramatically changed, and with just the expectations across the whole academy's really improving. So it's really key that we keep working together, but there's a pathway here at the club. There's a belief that we can all keep working together. The environment's strong, and actually if we keep progressing how we are, then hopefully we'll start to see more players play outside on the Eco Power and go and make some more debuts and try and sustain some form of career. But the journey is tough. It's really difficult to make that jump, but actually we've got to do everything in our power to make that possible.
Recruitment, a big part of what you do, and you've made changes to that, but also local recruitment and making sure that you're getting the best players within the Doncaster area coming to Rovers.
Yeah, and there's probably 2 or 3 ways to look at that. So the recruitment team has evolved. We brought in Wallace Law from Norwich City, Cat 1, and Jamie Hadfield, who spent a long time in the local area, coming to look at our 7s to 14s. It was really, really key. We just keep looking in our local area first, in the radius. So Club 1879 was created a couple of years ago. I've spoken about this many times before. So match day tournaments, getting eyes on the players, creating more fans and supporters for the club, but making sure that we're the destination of choice really for anyone regionally first. And we've got a brilliant holistic programme in place. The care we show is unbelievable, and we've got to keep making sure that there's pathways from the area and players are coming to us over potential other clubs.
What's it looking like in terms of the sort of percentage of Doncaster players being in within the group?
Nearly 60% across the board, and actually looking at the quartile of the players, we've got more Q3s than Q1s, which is a little unusual for certainly Category 3 academies. There's generally a trend of Q1s being heavily dominated because of younger birth. So actually, we've got a large percentage from Doncaster, nearly 60%, with a DM postcode. And like I said, some Q3, Q4 players, which again goes against some of the trends, and we've just got to keep stretching them. So that's why the Top Talent Programme was created, to really strive towards the higher potential players within the academy, to just try and accelerate their experiences. And ultimately, of that group of players that we see really high potential towards the top end, they are local players. Now it's our job as staff to make sure that they maximise every single day on and off the pitch. They treat education the same as football. They're learning, they're listening, and actually living the values of the whole club, and making sure that the community's proud of what we're trying to achieve.
As we sit here then, it's the early stages, I suppose, of all these changes, particularly staffing-wise. You're pleased at where you're at now and optimistic for what the future holds?
I think I'm always optimistic, to be fair, aren't I? So it's one of them where we need to embed staff, getting used to new working environment, everyone working together, people who may or may not have worked together before. For me, it's just around every single day maximising what we do. How do we check and challenge staff? How are the players improving? How are we making sure they've got the best opportunity to progress in the academy? But really optimistic that one, we can see more players out on the first team pitch and in the squad, and training over Grant and Cliff and all the first team staff, getting a loan programme that continues to thrive, creating good opportunities for players to go and exploit themselves at that level. And ultimately, really got to drive holistic development. Like we held the careers fair last year, trying to help the lads that were released. So we've got a big onus on us as a club to support those that may not be able to play for our first team, but actually may be suitable for the wider game and actually have a career. And you see Ben Bottomley coming back through the door as a part-time coach with us, which is a brilliant little journey for him. And there's multiple different examples to give in terms of staffing. So we've got to try and reinvest in the people, the optimism to keep striving towards operating as best as we can at Category 3. We've got a staff structure that isn't too far away from Category 2, but actually we've just got to keep trying to produce players of value for the first team. They've got to take the chances when they get there, and if we can all look at ourselves and say we've tried the best for the player, and the player taking ownership of their development as well. We keep working with everyone involved to make sure holistically that they're coming to be the best version of themselves. It's really that, like we're dealing with some young children here. We want their part of childhood to be with our club to go. I absolutely love being at Doncaster Rovers, looking back in 20 years' time, looking back, going, yeah, I loved it there. They looked after me, a great time. I loved it, because not everyone's going to get on that pitch outside. So I think for us, it's creating those memories where we've been on tour last year. We've got Cologne planned for the YDP in Germany for next year as well. So it's international opposition, and just we want this to be like just a brilliant, fun, loving environment. But at the centre, we've kind of got a real duty of care to make sure that we're looking after them. They're exploiting every opportunity to improve themselves, and actually we're giving them every opportunity to develop as well. And that's looking at the parents as well, and making sure that their experience is good being part of the club, and want as many people to come watch the first team games as possible. The ball boys being around the first team games, and actually we've got a really good opportunity now at the club where first team are progressing, we're progressing, and ultimately we'll keep striving to be the best possible.